I'm sure other people will pop in as I'm reading, but oh, here's my green pillow.
Your official pillow carrier.
Handed on a golden platter. How about that?
Mm, sounds
So
good to me.
anyway, so let me read this to begin our time together. How about that? So
Mm.
today is March 25, and the title for the reading today is called "The Ear as Pedal," and the ear is only a pedal that grows from the heart. When we hear each other, it all becomes a garden.
Mm.
Just what does it mean to listen? We have all exhibited the remarkable mental dividedness whereby we choose not to pay attention, and yet when asked, we can recite word for word what has been said. Listening arises from a deeper place, and it seems we can only hear the living to the extent that we have truly lived, or
Mm.
understand pain and joy to the extent that we have allowed ourselves to be touched by life. If the ear grows from the heart like a petal, then as roots absorb rain and sun until a simple flower opens, the heart must absorb both tears and joy in order to sprout an ear that can truly hear. I remember years before cutting my feet in search of a path, sitting on my immigrant grandmother's hospital bed, watching her wince as they put gauze on her bed-sored heels. I remember years before I saved my golden retriever from drowning, watching a coworker cry for his dead dog, trying to
Mm.
understand how he could love an animal more than a person. I remember years before having to start my life over, racing down a farmhouse road in the middle of the night to see my father-in-law's proud eyes jut as the barn he built 30 years before it was burning to the ground. It was only later that I felt their pain, and even more, their true joy in caring for things. To be sure, we do not have to experience the same things to receive each other, but we do
Mm.
have to experience what is ours to live before life will show its roots. What does it take to truly listen? The breakdown of everything that parades between our hearts. If I dare to hear you, I will feel you like the sun and grow in your direction, and you in mine. For when we hear each other, it all becomes a garden. It all becomes edible. So, I suppose the question is, are you really listening or hearing everyone? Now, talk about being in the present moment. How's that? We're all consumed, especially I'm an addict with my iPhone and social media and all that type of thing. But no, I truly listening to each one of you. So, so I suppose maybe that's the conversation for today.
I have to say that this reading is so cosmic for me. I do my little window oracles and look out of the window and get messages. And this last week, there's been a poster outside our window that for some talk show that says something about listening. And I really received the message that I need to learn to listen more. And even
Mm.
during the bells, I sometimes find myself, I really try to be present and listen, but sometimes when the cosmic question is like just whoa, I find myself thinking and not really hearing what each person is saying. And so this past week I've really been trying to learn how to listen.
So, comments, thoughts. Are you truly listening to each other?
Mm. I see listening and hearing as two very distinctly different things.
Uh huh.
Listening is the, you know, what's happening around you and
Okay.
you're picking up on things. Hearing, to me, is the internalization of
Hmm.
what's been said. So, having said that, a lot of time I had read somewhere that a lot of times people are listening, but they're not hearing what's actually being said because they're trying to put an answer together
Right.
themselves toward what's been said to them. I think actively hearing someone is extremely important and is much deeper and can be equal. If it's a painful thing, it can be equally painful to the person hearing it.
Hmm.
On the other hand, that can create a bridge between two people too,
Right.
because understanding the pain of someone else in your own body, in your own mind, because you've engaged in hearing them, can create a bridge.
Thank you. Yes. A bridge. Talk about literally a bridge of communication, on all different levels. All different levels. So you and Heather are just kind of like really, trying to really connect fully, to the situation. And is it hearing? Yeah, it's hearing and listen. It's all in a way kind of combined together.
Well, I
Mm,
understand what you're saying about them being separate, but they can also be seen in the other way because we're always hearing. So I'm always hearing everyone talking or hearing all the noises around me, but am I truly listening? So it could go either way.
It can go either way, depending on how, which way you think about it.
Right.
right.
It's all good.
Oh
It
yeah.
is all good. What I was going to say is I see things completely the opposite as Sue. I see here, like you said, Heather, here is just at large, just taking it all in. But for me, listening is really zooming in and being present, sort of really encompassing and being with the person and being open-minded and open heart. So it's funny how I always told my husband since the beginning that we met, everything is in the art of interpretation.
Sure.
It is. And as Sue said, it's all good. It's just that we see things differently.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I like this, this comment. The ears is part of our hearts, so we really kind of connect to our truly listening, to that aspect. How about you? Can I point to you, Miss Lois? How are you? So good to see you this morning.
Well, this is really cosmic because I just finished with my circle, my Thursday group, and I was talking about time and patience and awareness. How we can use the full moon to come and are we bursting from all this stuff? But I've been realizing that I'm not listening to what I'm seeing.
Mm,
So I found myself reading messages without and making a decision about the message. And then when I went back and read it, I go, wait, what was I reading? That I didn't read the whole thing. I'm not paying full attention. And I have such a warped sense of time that I'm losing my sense of present. And I'm showing up for things that are a week early. I almost forgot to like show up to teach a class at 3 o'clock on Monday. And all of a sudden at 2 o'clock, I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, I have to be there, even though it was on Zoom. Fortunately, it wasn't like I'm, going all these places. Emails I'm not responding to. Yeah, I'll respond. And then what? What day? When was that? I can't find them now. It's just been such a bizarre sense of time. And I'm finding I'm not listening to anything I see.
mm,
It's, I'm really making that connection. So this was really very powerful reading.
mm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lois, for sharing. Thank you.
And I got the pink notice for all the
I did. Oh gosh, and Linda's close.
And Heather's half pink. She's
I'm
there.
close.
And Mr. Johan, what are your thoughts?
Hello, everybody. Two books came to my mind, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, The Little Prince.
Oh, The Little Prince.
You know this book, and I don't know the English translation, but he says you only listen properly with your heart. This is somehow he says it in his book. This is a very nice book. I hope you all read it. And then also in terms of, I once had, I read a book from Marshall B. Rosenberg about nonviolent communication. And he said there are two types how to listen. You can listen with wolf ears, or you can listen with my favorite animal, giraffe ear. So you have to really be very aware. And I think the most people think they have to give an answer to what they hear. You don't have to. You just have to listen. This is the miracle of everything. You don't have to answer. Just listen to your friends, to your family. Just be there and listen. That's the best you can do in many ways, I think.
Yes.
God bless you. Absolutely.
Thank you, Johan.
What's the difference between the wolf and the giraffe?
Well, the wolves are listening to find, their chance, and this one is how do you say, predator,
Yes.
and giraffes are they open their ears to hear what is coming, and they are animals who flee. How do you say? Flee animals. So they would run away from something, and wolves are listening with ears. Where is my what do wolves normally, my deer, or what they did,
Their next
the
meal.
difference.
Where is their next meal?
Where's the next meal? Yes.
Interesting.
But this is very short. You should read this book.
Thank you. Thank you. And actually, Johan, I just love the moon. It's like this aura of the photograph behind you, and you're perfectly centered. I love it. It's so cool. And Miss Rita, what are your thoughts about listening?
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
It's very interesting. I agree with Heather that generally I'm just sort of listening to the background and need to focus more on what everybody's saying and to listen in more closely. Because a lot of times I'm distracted and thinking about what I need to do next and what else is going on and my shopping list. So I think it's important to use the mindfulness techniques that a lot of the spas use and recommend.
Yes. I mean, for me, I have my hearing aids on, so talking about listening, I can actually filter out just by taking off my hearing aids, and I don't really hear a lot of different things. But then I need to really try to focus or be present about what are people trying to say to me, or what is Heather trying to say to me also. And Reverend Barbara, what are your thoughts about listening?
Yeah, good morning. I really resonate with what Johan said and some of what Rita said. I appreciate everything that everyone says. For me, listening, it's more than this organ. It's my entire being.
Yes.
It's the heart, being present for whoever I'm working with. And it's something that Mark Nepo actually says compassion is being present,
Mm-hmm.
holding space for someone, being present. So all of my being is present for someone who's talking to me, so I can hear. And it's not so much hearing the words that are being spoken, it's hearing and feeling the energy, the essence behind what they're saying. Because sometimes people say an awful lot, but the essence is just there. And if we're not really mindful, we're going to miss that part, because we're busy. The ear is hearing all of this, but the heart can hear the essence of what's being said. But also, it's important for me anyway. Being present for someone means that I meet them where they are. And when I meet them where they are and I'm listening and hearing and I'm present, I'm not trying to bring them to where I am, imposing my thoughts or feelings on. I'm meeting them where they are, and I stay there where they are. And I'm with them, I'm being with them. And it's not just this, it's all of this. Someone else said something about we're not listening, not hearing, because we're trying to figure out a solution to what they're saying. And as Johan said, we don't always have to have an answer. Sometimes if we're just present and the person is talking, they find their own answer. Because sometimes when we have or try to have an answer for a person, we actually interfere with their ability to find their answers themselves. Because it's our agenda that we're bringing to them instead of just being present for them.
Right.
That's right.
So for me, listening and hearing, it's just being present for the person, fully, wholly, and completely, from the heart. Thank you, Johan, from the heart.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
That's exactly what I've been learning this week, exactly what you just said. And not trying to fix it and not trying to give advice, and just to listen, just to be present. And sometimes they figure it out on their own, or sometimes they're not asking for help. So why am I trying to offer solutions when they're not asking?
Because we want to help.
But very well
said.
And Miss Mary Beth, good morning. What are your thoughts about listening or hearing?
I resonate with a lot of what's been said already. I feel like true listening is holding the space for someone. Well, that's when I was in therapy, used to consider just hearing, not thinking ahead. And yeah, I say holding space because sometimes the speaker, isn't used to being heard. They're gonna maybe have some of the giraffe type of, wait, there's silence. Since I had my brain surgery and I've had to change, I always, when I work with my hands, I think, well, we have another brain in our body. It's the heart brain, or brain heart, or so sometimes it's hard to get here articulated out in a way that people can actually hear. So, and I discovered myself two things. One, there was a gentleman I worked with and he had something occur. He didn't tell me he cancer, and he didn't let me know certain facts about him. And so he had something occurred during the session that was embarrassing for him. And I found myself immediately saying, oh, that's happens sometimes, or that happened to me. And I just try, and I realized after, like, oh, this is a thing. This is why people offer advice you don't want because they're sincerely trying to help. Like, I was feeling for him to make him feel comfortable, or make myself. But in my mind, and I thought, oh, so that was a very powerful lesson. also this idea of just listening and being starved of being heard, because you can feel when someone's truly listening.
Right.
So sometimes, and you've probably all experienced it, and I just promised my aide I wasn't going to talk, but it's haven't been in this situation, since 2017,
Mm.
finding people like this group where I really feel heard.
Right.
It's like I think I need to go to Talkers Anonymous, or and I always was such a great, I mean, my clients used to share things with me. My client who was a psychiatrist, her son was bipolar, and when he not got out, but he had an episode and he was on the train, and I was the one she called.
Mm.
Because I was distanced enough from the family dynamic, but she had felt heard from me. And I thought, where did she go? I'm in here somewhere.
Right.
So it's just, and Little Prince, I love that book.
Mm.
And so I guess there's a lot of different aspects of what I resonate with that's being said. And also the challenge, especially now, we're almost trained in the media, COVID, we're almost being programmed to have a response.
Right.
New York tough, we're going to wear the masks. You're not necessarily hearing someone's experience personally. That's a little I do that too. I go off on a tangent. So we'll leave it there. I resonate and I appreciate, and wow, it's powerful stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I just want to share something quick that you all reminded me of, Heather and Johan, and and Barbara and Mary Beth, not having to respond. So I find that's what I've been learning too. So I just acknowledge rather than have to tell them anything. I'll just let them know I'm listening, that I'm hearing them. Okay, I hear you. That's all I'll say.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like you said, that's all they need.
Mhm.
But we want to make everybody feel better, right?
Yeah,
It's just in our
yeah.
nature. We want to help you. We want you to be better. What can we do? But sometimes all they need is to know, okay, I'm here. I hear you.
Right.
And it's as simple as that. So we're all on the same wavelength. It's beautiful as always, right?
Yeah.
And Miss Linda, what are your thoughts about this topic here?
Good morning, everybody. I resonate with what everyone's saying. Definitely listening is for the heart. I truly believe that. I always say I consider myself a good listener. When I listen to my friends, I want to hear what they have to say. And then sometimes you want to, now I'm learning that you don't have to have a response. Like we're just that everyone's saying, sometimes I think I do have to have a response. I do remember one time when I wasn't listening to a friend. She was talking and something was on, a show was on. I was listening to her, but I was multitasking, and she knew. She said, "You're not listening to me," and I felt so bad. And I was like, "Well, I didn't want to. I'm listening to you, but there's something came on." She said, "Well, just let me know. Just tell me that you're doing something that's you have to do, and we can talk another time." And then I remembered. Then I realized that what she said was true. So I really want to make sure I'm mindful of that too, that people can tell when you're not listening. So just being mindful of that, but definitely that was a good one today. Good cosmic question today.
They're all good.
They're all good.
So,
Linda, you
Thank
brought
you.
up
Yeah,
for me,
to say so.
oh, sorry. Go ahead. Linda, you brought up for me, I just said this to RD the other day, actually. I heard somewhere, when you're multitasking, you're really not present with anything. So there's no such thing as multitasking. You can't be present with two activities at the same time.
Very true. I agree. That's very true.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
RD, if I may.
Please.
Oh, so you wanted to say something?
No, you go.
Okay.
I'll talk after you.
Okay. It reminds me of I had read somewhere that there was a couple. He was an astrophysicist and she was a ballerina. And the astrophysicist had a problem solving something, and he would explain it to his wife, the ballerina, who had no scientific clue. And while he was explaining to her so that she would understand, he found the solution. So I think that in a big part of the conversation, when somebody is speaking to another person, hopefully they're trying to figure out themselves what is wrong and trying to sort of have another perspective. When you hear yourself say, oh, this or oh, that person can sort of listen to herself and say, is this true? Is this right? Is it that much? Or just understanding what she's going through. And then as the other person, I think, is perfectly right, as Jochen and everyone said, to just listen and just let her figure out a big part of what's wrong or what's happening with her. I think that it's multi-layered listening.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One of the things that I wanted to share is that this was something that I did with my children all the time. And I have to say, it was on the advice of my cousin Robin in Woodstock. And that is that anytime that I could see there was something going on with them, I would let them know that I was there and I wouldn't say anything, that they could just talk to me and I would not respond, that they could feel free to express whatever was going on. And I also made it clear to them that I never would interfere with things they wanted to do from the time that they were very young, unless I felt that it was a matter of personal safety. At which point I would say something and I would expect them, if they were younger, to take what I said to heart and act accordingly. One of the things that I found with that was so great, especially with my youngest daughter, Goldie, is that I would go and pick her up from school. She went to New Paltz. I went to New Paltz also. And I would make the drive to pick her up because she was in this really bad relationship. And at the beginning, I would say things to her. And then I kind of gave up. I just said, you know, nobody can get her out of this but her. And so I would make the effort to go and pick her up at school. And I wouldn't have to say anything to open that can. She would just pour her heart out. And I would just listen. I wouldn't make any value judgments. I wouldn't say anything. And over time, she did, thankfully, end it. But, you know, I think people just need to know that we're willing to hear what they have to say, that we're not only interested in solving their problems. As Barbara said, it's 1,000% right. People have to really solve their own problems.
Right.
And
Thank
just
you.
one more quick thing, because Heather, you really hit the nail on the head for me about the multitasking. One of the benefits I got from studying feng shui, and I guess coming out of the Reiki practitioner studies and the feng shui and the clearing, I remember going to work and saying, I'm not a multitasker anymore. I'm going to do one thing at a time. I'm going to finish it and I'm going to be done. And that was my awakening to, oh my God, I'm like a ping pong ball. Nothing's getting done. It's all diluted. It's like I'm a second here, a second there. I'm not multitasking. I'm a lunatic. So, and I remember I had a new boss and she was like, multitask. I'm like, I just was calm. She was such a tree. She was like going. It was like she was booming. I'm like, oh, I was the water. I can flow. I'm going to be easy. And I just did what I wanted.
And it all got done.
Yep, it all got done.
There you go.
All gets done, exactly.
Find your way. You find your way.
Good example.
Yes. So I think it might be nice to let's take some time and just listen to the silence. How about that? So I'm going to mute everybody.
Oh, well, I just had one, just on the heels, I guess, of what everyone said, and Lois, what came to mind is this idea of watching someone live.
Uh-huh.
You really listen, it's like what, or bearing witness, but even watching someone live, and I learned that as an adult when I was doing one of the therapies, and I realized that the so person with me like was really watching what I was doing, and I suddenly got this aha moment. I thought, oh, this is why parents go to the games. My
Mm.
parents were working parents, but like it was this feeling, and it doesn't take that much.
Nope.
It's not like, that connection can happen just like just like that quote you have, Lois. No, I'm sorry, I'm making a bad joke, but you have the breath it takes, and it only takes one or two breaths to feel heard.
Mhm.
So just came to mind, witness watching to someone living,
Okay.
and then listening.
We're
But
gonna
Artie, you haven't really spoken.
what?
You haven't really spoken.
Oh, to me, I've spoken with everybody here. So
Okay.
for me, I'm just enjoying I'm just listening. So this is really nice. So I'm just gonna mute everybody and let's just listen to the silence. How about that? I'm gonna mute everybody and let's just relax. And just enjoy. Just enjoy just listening to our hearts or just listening to the silence. So just breathing in and breathing out. And have your feet flat on the floor. And just sit comfortably in our chairs. And let's begin. Let's begin our time with the ringing of the bell. And just sitting so relaxed in our chairs. And let's imagine finding a beautiful place to contemplate. Maybe we're outside, sitting on the beach with the gentle waves along the shore, with the lighthouse in the distance. Or maybe just sitting in the forest and just smell the aroma of the rich, dark earth energy. Or just sitting by the lake, overlooking the beautiful mountains in the distance. You can smell the pine trees, feel the chi of the sun, gentle breezes, blue skies, and just allow our monkey minds just to relax. And just visualize this beautiful purple healing chi energy from the universe. Gently, gently connecting along the central channel of our bodies. Connecting into our hearts, our dantian. Going through the roots, connecting to our legs. Deep down. Connecting into Mother Earth. Heaven, humanity, and earth. Breathing in and breathing out. And let's just relax and just simply listen to the silence. maybe just hear the words from the universe or from God, or listen to the whispers in the wind, or maybe it's the angels singing in the choirs of the church, the cathedrals. Just listen. Listen to the sounds of our heart. And just imagine that each one of us is a lighthouse, and each one of us just beaming love, beaming hope, sharing our resilience, sharing our peace, and most importantly, sharing our strength to others who are in need of finding their silence, their peace, and for them gently, gently, gently bring our palms together into prayer position. And just continue just being relaxed. Now just open your palms. Just open your palms very gently. And your hands are relaxed. Your elbows relax. And let's just all radiate healing chi energy to our friends, to our family, all the people who are asking for help. Sharing our compassion and our resilience and the knowingness that all will be well. Now gently, gently take our hands and just place it onto our hearts. Place it onto our hearts, our dantian, or maybe just do a beautiful, gentle hug for yourself. Just feel the warmth for ourselves. And just embrace this purple chi healing energy. I'm going to close our time together with the ringing of the bells. Om Mani Padme Om. 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 The 6 true words, imbued with compassion and kindness, smiles, and love. And gently, gently can open your eyes. Gently, gently rub your palms together. Or if you want to rub your palms really vigorously, to just kind of put it over our eyes and just feel the comfort and the chi energy circulating. And then just continue, just tap, tap, tap very gently, gently, gently along our face and along our eyes and our head. Rub your ears, gently, gently tap the top part of the arm, the bottom part of the arm. Just wake up the chi cells of all the meridians along your heart, your shoulders, your kidneys. Do a little tap dance on the floor. Be like Thumper the rabbit onto the ground. So if you want to unmute, we just want to wish you a beautiful day. BKTO. Be kind to oneself. Happy
Yes.
Thursday. Ah.
Love you
Happy
all.
Thursday. Love you all.
You.
Bye.
Love you
I
all.
look forward to
Bye.
it today.
Bye.
Don't forget, tomorrow's Fun Friday.
Tomorrow is
Oh,
Fun
yes.
Friday. Thank you.
Fun Friday tomorrow.